Hello and welcome to Poll Stream. We're back to continue bringing you election-related topics, trends and happenings from social media as part of Channels TV's election program, The Verdict.
Indeed. Now, to be a part of the program, you can send in your video reactions, tweets, or comments via social media handles showing on your screen. If they're not showing now, they'll show in a bit. It's at Victor_MBIDI at Channels TV, as well as
at Oluwamayowa.
The Wonder Woman. Welcome once again. I'm Victor Matthias.
And I'm Mayowa Ogundele. To kick off the program, let's hear what some of you said about how the rescheduled elections affected you personally. Now, from Twitter, we have Lenient Abiodun, who says, February 16, in transit, on my way to my polling unit, I heard that the election has been postponed around 2:44 a.m. I'm really disappointed, but anyway, I'm still going to go out tomorrow to vote for my conscience.
Atshegun Ojalabi says the postponement destroyed my plan and that of my family because we were meant to have a wedding party fixed for February the 23rd. Now we need to adjust the fixed date. It's quite unfair.
From Facebook, we have Amos, who said, as an ad hoc staff in Benue State, it affected me because I ran into the hands of robbers that night. And because I didn't have money, I came home 2 days later.
For Otumba Ayekotito Ogundeji says, it affected me seriously. I registered in Lagos, but I stay in Ogun State, so I rented a hotel for the night, and I was waiting to go out in the morning to vote before the hotel manager told me the election has been postponed.
Wow.
Some chilling reactions.
Yeah.
But let's also get one more reaction, this time around in video format.
That's from Tolu Motemi.
Exactly.
And two things came to my mind quickly. One, my friend just traveled from Lagos for the elections. Secondly, companies shut down so people could travel to vote. Third, I have a friend who's getting married the 23rd, which is now the new date for the election. And now guess what? It's been ruined. Just like that. I have two things to think about. One, what is going to happen to the venue she has booked for her reception? Is she going to find a new date? Now, what if someone else has booked that day for their own event? What is going to happen? I mean, these kind of decisions are disappointing and should never happen in a nation like this. How do you make these kind of decisions with 6 hours to the event? 6 hours for an event you've been planning for 4 years, just like that. People have made live decisions based on those dates that have been announced months ago, and then you come around and change everything. We should not be at this level anymore, honestly.
Chilling my reaction. I mean, you know, a lot of people actually got their plans all jerked up, you know, misconstrued and all of that.
I pity those who had to cancel their weddings and postpone their dates.
That means a lot more money.
Definitely.
You know. Well, let's move forward now. And security has also been a major concern for Nigerians home and abroad. And, well, to get a sense of what the situation is like, we're joined by a security expert via Skype from London, Pt.1.
All right, Chidi's not ready, apparently.
Yeah, apparently he isn't ready. So, I mean, like I was saying earlier on, you know, the whole thing just got all plans, you know, mixed up. Now people have spent a lot more money, and I mean, so what do they do? I mean, people are saying that, you know, at this stage of in our democracy, we shouldn't be having such hiccups in our electoral process. So, do you think the Electoral Act needs to be touched on?
Definitely, but as much as you know, all that happened, I'm just happy that we can finally get it over with this weekend, and people's sacrifices will not be in vain at the end of the day.
I hope it's not in vain, but I think we have Chidi back. Chidi, it's a pleasure to have you on the program.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Well, let's begin with the fact that, I mean, let's begin with what the situation is at the moment, because, or let's make a comparison between what it was before the postponement and now.
Sorry, I missed your last statement. Could you just repeat that?
All right, I was saying that we should make a comparison of the security situation between now and what it was like before the election was postponed.
Well, to be brutally honest, from a security perspective, not much has changed. We're still in the same situation that we were in, last week. Boko Haram is still attacking, more or less at will. In the Northwest, we still have the bandit incidences. Although this week there's been not as many incidents of kidnappings as the week before, but that could be just because there's not that many people out on the roads, or people are more concentrated or more sedentary. Down, in the south, we still have, attacks, assassinations going on. So the security situation is more or less just as volatile as it was last week.
Statement about snatching of ballot boxes, which has generated a lot of comments on social media as well as off social media. Would you say that has also, perhaps they upped the ante in terms of fear? Do you think that will also cause voter apathy?
I don't think it will cause voter apathy per se. I think the issue is it's a very unfortunate phrasing, to be using the, kind of a phrase like shooting on sight or, shooting ballot box snatches. There was a much more judicious way that view could have been put across, to emphasize that, rigging and ballot snatching is illegal and that the people will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law rather than going straight to, shooting people. And, when you put that into the context of maybe the actions in terms of what happened with the Shia in Abuja or in Zaria, where people were shot on the streets, it's not a good comparison for a government to be, putting out, particularly at this time when they're looking for re-election. So I don't think it will necessarily feed apathy, but it's not good from a, information management point of view.
Now, Chidi, in the past week, we've had allegations thrown back and forth between the two top political parties of they're planning to rig, or they're aware of the postponement, they're trying to, cause trouble. Does any of that play out in this weekend's election? Do you see all of that, maybe adding to the tension or something, or causing tension?
No, definitely. I mean, I think we have to be very realistic with ourselves. If we don't accept that rigging is a fundamental part of any Nigerian election. So the question is, how much rigging, how blatant is it going to be, and how much effect will it have on the final tally? So Stalin had a very good, the former Russian communist ruler Stalin had a very interesting statement about it's not important who votes, it's who counts the votes. So what we're looking at is how is this rigging going to take place? Is it going to be the ballot box snatching? Is it going to be intimidation, or is it going to be looking at changing the figures or changing what the polling stations present? So that's where you have a slightly more interesting problem set in terms of what results come from the polling stations compared to what results are announced later on.
All right, Chidi, thank you very much for joining us on the program today, but we have to hold it here. We'll take our next guest this time around. But, of course, like they say, 23rd is almost here, and INEC has assured citizens that all is in place for the elections to hold this weekend. Now, one of the interesting things about the 2019 general elections is the percentage of young people contesting for various offices. The percentage has grown, from 2015, I think it was around 21%, and now it has grown up to like 32.4%. I mean,
it's really impressive. And one question which we will handle on the program this morning is, what are their chances? How well, do analysts think they're going to do at the polls?
Indeed. Well, joining us to look at this is a member of the Not Too Young to Run. She's joining us from our Abuja studio, Chioma Chuka. Chioma, it's a pleasure to have you on the program.
Lovely to be here. Thank you.
Of course. So let's begin with the chances of young people in this elections.
I think that young people, like old people, have the same chances during this election. I believe that we're coming into an age where the citizenry is more politically aware. The level of education as far as political processes and elections is increasing. And so people are asking questions. They're not just saying, why do you want me to vote for you? They're saying, what are you bringing? What are your antecedents? And a number of young people who are running, especially for legislative positions at the national and state levels, have done enough groundwork, have done the legwork required to let their constituents and the electorate know what their plans are. And so we're pretty positive about the outcomes of the elections. We also know that elections are not a do or die affair. We also know that elections will always produce a winner and the person who didn't clinch the ultimate votes of the people. And so young people are prepared. The ones who win these positions are prepared to act in the best interest of their constituents, bringing character, competence, and capability and capacity, to these positions. And the ones who do not win will document the process so that the next set of people who will run for offices in 2023 are prepared and know what to do and what not to do.
Chioma, as much as we have young people vying for different positions in the coming in the elections, you would notice that there's a large number of young people also supporting, older politicians and established politicians and parties. How do you make sense of this, and what gives you hope, bearing this in mind?
It's a democracy, isn't it? And everyone has, the Human Rights Charter allows people to associate with whomever they want to associate with. And so in the same way that older people are supporting older people, young people are free to support whoever they choose. We just believe that these people are supporting these older candidates or younger candidates based on capacity, competence, and character, a soundness of character. And so, there's really nothing to be said there. I don't think there should be a divide between who young people are supporting and who older people are supporting. No, I might not agree with, the electoral plans of a young person. I might not agree with the electoral plans of an older person. It doesn't, there's nothing to be said there, really. We just know that the young people who have come out to run for several positions, we wish them the best. They have done the groundwork going door to door to canvass for votes. They have laid out their plans and their manifestos for the electorate. And, the people will decide tomorrow. The people always decide.
Well, just before we let you go, I mean, of course, we've seen the fact that a couple of people have stepped down, their aspirations, to support a particular candidates. I mean, like you said, they've done their campaigns, they put forward their manifestos, but yet at the tail end, I mean, after gathering all the momentum, they just, back out. I mean, how serious do you think people will take them next time around?
I think that, again, this is not a young versus old question, because there are older people who, started out on this, political journey and dropped out as well. And again, and so I believe that people have their reasons for either deciding to continue, with this electoral journey or dropping out along the way. As far as being taken seriously, I think it depends, it strongly depends on their reasons for dropping out of the races they were in, but it also depends on the way they communicated this to the people whose, love and acceptance and support they had garnered in the first place. So I believe that for a number of people, for instance, who had their journeys truncated by their political parties at the primary stage, a number of people who faced some challenges even after the primaries and decided that, my life is not worth the aspiration and I can come back and do this later. I believe that as long as they communicate this decision to their constituents, to the people who support them adequately, they stand a chance every other time they come out to declare for an office in this country.
Thank you very much, Chioma Chuka, joined us from our Abuja studios. I mean, are you convinced?
I don't know what to say right now.
Well, while you think about that, we'll take a quick break and we'll be back in a moment. Please stay with us.